Good afternoon. My name is Chris Adam with Youth Pledge for Employers, and I'm delighted to be joined by Rebecca, the head nurse at Moreton Hall Vets. Hello there, Rebecca.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Brilliant.
Thank you for giving me your time to speak to me this afternoon. And I will apologise to anyone who's sort of watching this video. There is a slight delay, but we're going to make the best of it. And I guess my sort of first question for you, Rebecca, has to be: can you tell me about Moreton Hall Vets and what it is you do?
Moreton Hall Vets, yeah. So we're independent practice, so we're not corporately owned. We're owned actually by a family. We have been going for, I think we're in our 20th year this year, I believe. And I have been with the company for 15 years this year. We're, like I say, a small independent veterinary practice. We just do small animal here, but that does include exotics. We do have 4 branches. Our Ipswich branch actually do cover Jimmy's farm. So we have seen meerkats, tigers, lemurs, rheas, ostrich, various exotic animals, stretches over there. But over here, it's dogs, cats, small animals, rabbits, mice, guinea pigs, and obviously the occasional snake, lizard, parrot, that sort of thing.
I mean, I'm just trying to be professional, not ask you about all the wonderful animals, because I've just got so many questions about all the different animals popping into my head. But actually, on that, a sort of a career path like this and working in the sector, for a lot of people, the main reason will be because they love to work with animals, and it's a big passion. And it's obviously going to be a big passion of yours as well. But aside from that, what gets you out of bed in the morning to do your job?
It's obviously, like you say, it's animals that come first. It's animals that need us, and welfare comes first. But then it is the clients, it is the people. It's that no 2 days are ever the same. You've got no idea what's going to walk in the doors next, even what you've got planned as nurse clinics or operations. Obviously there are emergencies that come in. But yeah, it's the clients, and here we're very lucky that we have really nice talkative clients that we can sort of educate and sort of ask their questions and put their mind at ease, sometimes if they've got an unwell pet. So yeah, it is a big combination, really, I think.
That's really interesting to hear. And if anyone had an interest in going into a career in sort of in sort of working in a veterinary field, they could quite easily, how do I put it, Google and find out what the exact sort of different ways you could study and the different paths into the industry are. But from your perspective, if you strip back all the things they'd learn and the clinical and technical skills, what are the core sort of soft skills and personality traits someone would really need to succeed in your field?
Yeah, so it's good communication, patience and understanding, calmness, steadiness, works well under pressure, works well as a team, works well as an individual. I think that's pretty much it really. And then it would be sort of social skills. We sort of touch on, obviously, with like talking to clients and communication. So those bits really.
And is there, I mean, when you was talking earlier about the exotic animals, I didn't even think about those kind of animals. Is there a degree of sort of always continuously learning on the job? Because I'm assuming you might come across, I don't know, I'm thinking of, an exotic animal, whether it be an exotic bird or, lizard or something that maybe you haven't dealt with before, so is there a constant need to learn and adapt as well?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Each registered nurse with the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons and each veterinary surgeon registered with the Royal Veterinary College of Surgeons have to do so many hours of CPD, so the continuing professional development, per year to keep up our acceptance onto the registration. So if you don't complete those hours, then you can be taken off. And that is 45 hours over the period of 3 years now, I believe it's been changed to. But yes, we're continuously learning. We're continuously buying books and learning and going on these little courses that we are allowed to go on throughout the year. But yeah, you never stop learning. Being qualified now for over 20 years, and I'm still learning. People are getting new pets, things you've never heard of, and it even goes to crossbreeding of dogs, like the cockapoo. You've got to have an understanding of the cocker spaniel and the poodle and dogs and genetics to be able to understand what traits these animals have, especially behavior wise. So yeah, continuously learning every day.
And I'm guessing, actually, as you said there, that every day is different and need to learn lots of new challenges always to overcome. I'm guessing that must be an attractive part about, the sector and the job for you as well, the fact that no 2 days are the same.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I think every veterinary nurse, and I think every veterinary surgeon would say that you come into the job and you are soon excited by, you have no idea what is coming through. And it's not an office job, it's not a 9 to 5 job. You're not knowing what meetings you've got planned throughout the day or what visits you're going to be doing, and that is definitely an exciting bit to the job.
And sort of in a job like this, I think it's people easily get an idea, I guess, of what the good days look like and what the challenging days look like, in terms of, I say, yeah, the good days, as you say, you're putting owners' minds at ease, successful procedures, I say, animals getting better. When it comes to the more challenging side of things, where you're in a profession where, as I say, bad news and and challenging sort of challenging things can be part of the job. How, other than sort of the technical and clinical training, I guess you get for it, how do you sort of, how to put it, develop that, that sort of almost professional distance, I guess, because, as I say, you're going to be an animal lover, you're going to see, as I say, those challenging days. Sort of, how do you develop, as I say, sort of the ability to even plow through the profession on those challenging days?
Yeah, there's no amount of anything, there is no college course, there is no book of how to deal with difficult situations that arise. It is a case of that is your team. So it's your team that gets you through it. And it's like we say here, we are Moreton Hall Veterinary Centre, MHVC, and we have our family and we have our MHVC family. We're always professional and don't try to show emotion at times. Sometimes that runs away from us. And then we will go out and we will talk about the situation or what has happened to each other. And everyone in the practice has gone through that, even receptionists and our admin staff. So it's the talk, it's the communication, and it's the sharing, and it's the team that gets you through those tough days.
And yeah, as you said there, I guess having that tight team bond, is so important, as I say, yeah, for those challenging days. But then again, I'm guessing you all sharing that joy as much, as I say, on the good days as well. And what did the good days in your practice look like?
The good days are lots of puppy and kittens that come in. So this year, everyone is getting puppies and kittens. So that is good days. Thankfully, there are more good days than there are bad days. So yeah, that would be an animal coming in and we don't really know what's wrong with it, and through all the testing and sometimes surgery, we get for them to go home, and then we'll see them come back in a week's time when all the medication is checked and finished. And they're a different dog, they're a different cat, they're a different animal. So certainly the good days, yeah, do get us through it.
Oh, that's lovely to hear. And I just want to touch on something you mentioned right at the start, in terms of, you talked about, as I say, sort of how nice it is to to interact with your clients, to work with them, see smiles on their faces. I think if the lockdowns showed us anything, it is the importance and value of people's, pets and animals in their lives. would you say that, I guess, there's probably never been more of a need actually for almost customer service skills and people management skills, sort of in your role and in your sector, because of, and again, COVID was very good for showing people how much they value their pets and animals.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And certainly through lockdown was some of the toughest weeks, months that we've ever experienced as a practice. We were still coming in. We were part of the sort of core team and the emergency service as such, where the animals were still being unwell and they still needed to be treated. So we were still here in the background. But yeah, it become very apparent that the animals need us, but the clients need us as well. They need to talk to us. They need to reassure. And through lockdown, sometimes even through the mask and the distance, and they were allowed in the practice, that we were the only people that they were talking to. So, but it is a lovely part of the job to be able to sit there, and they're not rushed through for 5 minutes. Oh, I don't have time to speak to you. We all have time, and as long as it takes to reassure them and chat about their shopping and the weather. But that again, that's a bit that we love. That yeah, everyone is so nice.
It's fantastic to hear. And if, as I say, it's very easy to sort of find out about the different routes into say veterinary science, veterinary practice. And if someone is sort of maybe too young to be looking into those routes yet, so maybe to say they're under the age of 16, from your opinion, what kind of things could they be doing, whether it's in their spare time or something they could put on their CV or something that you think would help them in the future if they were going to say pursue a career, whether it's, as I say, a hobby or a pastime, or just something else they could be doing?
Yeah, so certainly it would be walking your neighbour's dog, helping an elderly person be able to groom their dog. Sometimes they're not able to actually get down and be able to brush all the bits on the dog and the cat. Given that, sometimes it might be if a neighbour or someone that is going away, that you're actually popping in and looking after the cat. A lot of veterinary surgeons and veterinary surgeries, certainly in the area of Bury St Edmunds and Suffolk, will take on 16-year-olds for voluntary work. So that could be evening, weekends, couple of hours after school. We'll always take on students from schools and have them as like volunteer work, but you do get to see behind the scenes, and you do get to see and cuddle puppies and kittens and never exposed to anything negative. But and that is how a lot of our now qualified nurses have started. They've started as with us for 2 or 3 hours on Saturday afternoon, because we're open all day, and then they've gone on to do a college course, or the course that we have, and then they've come back to us to be employed. So yeah, it's like that.
Oh, that's amazing and really insightful, and actually leads me quite nicely on to my final question, because as I say, you spoke there about sort of different people's journeys and how, as I say, they've gone from volunteering, as I say, on a Saturday afternoon to coming back and working the practice. And I've asked this question to all the employers I've spoken to when I've done these employer talks, which is, Rebecca, if you could go back and maybe speak to, say, I don't know, a 17, maybe 16, 17, 18-year-old younger version of yourself, taking into account, sort of the experience you've got, the things you've learned, maybe successes you've had, mistakes you've made, what's the one piece of career advice you would give to your younger self?
It would probably be paying more attention to people around you, and to animals. I went into nursing a long way round. I left college after doing animal care, city and guilds, and kennel and cattery management at Ollie College in Ipswich. And then I was employed in a pet shop, was there for years. Then I worked at quarantine kennels. worked there for years, went to a different veterinary practice and qualified with them, and then, like I say, have been here 15 years now. But it would probably go straight into veterinary nursing rather than do the pet shop and the quarantine kennels. But it also was quite good that I built up my skills, my knowledge of small animals from the pet shop. The quarantine kennels was just dogs and cats. So we don't have quarantine kennels anymore. So I built up my handling skills and my knowledge there, and then went into nursing. So even doing it the long way round and taking several years before I finally settled into my job, I always knew I wanted to work with animals, but I didn't really know what to do. But it has actually helped me get up the ladder and be more confident to start with my career.